So welcome back to the down the line view. Looking at those in slow-mo from different angles is really illuminating to me. I never really looked at it like this before. I hope it was interesting and helpful to you. What was interesting to me is you could really see the tilt and the turn combination, but also how the hips just kind of stayed on the same helicopter all the way around. There wasn't really much of a wobble when I did it in the sticks. It just kind of, you know, turned around a constant tilted plane. Now let's move ahead and go ahead and talk about some of the common errors in the hips that people will make. And hopefully I've got my front stick back in again. I couldn't use it during the swinging because my arms would hit it. But let's take a look at three of the most common hip errors that I think you should try to stay away from. One of the most common hip patterns that I just feel like is a little less optimal, very common though, is when a golfer will just simply make a flat turn. So you can see I don't have any tilt at all. This golfer will also eschew moving the right hip outside the ankle like we do in the Austin method, but rather they'll keep everything in a barrel and just turn. And let's try this with the golf posture. So like that. And so I don't have a lot of tilt. I have extra turn, let's say another 15 degrees. I'm already at 45 degrees. I think this puts you in a disadvantaged position. Number one, I don't think you're going to be able to get as much power. I don't think there's as much side-to-side linear forces going on. But I think it also puts you at a disadvantage in that there's really only two ways you can respond on the downswing to this as being your coil up, and that would be spin back around it the other way, stay inside the barrel with your left hip now, this way, and notice that the sticks have stayed relatively level all the way back and through, just like this and like this. Now, if you were to go and do this up against a wall at home, especially if you're at least my age or older, you're already going to feel some awkwardness down here in the lower side. It starts to be real dangerous to do bad hip actions over and over and over again. So that's one way to respond. So again, that flat spin this way also would tend to put a lot of stress on the knee. See, as the knee goes into hyperextension very rapidly without a lot of potential braking to slow it down, so you kind of jam the knee bones together doing that. But there are some very good players who do this. That doesn't make it right or wrong. I just think it makes it, to me, in my opinion, a little average and less on a plane, and they'll have to do something a little different with their arms to keep the club going on the path that they want. For example, if I turn flat, you see, my club would want to tend to come to the inside unless I kind of separate my arms at the same time I do it. So to me, I'd rather have everything kind of working on the same track or parallel tracks. The other error golfers will make coming out of this flat spin is the early extension. They will tend to drive their hips this way. And what you'll notice from the sticks here is that the sticks haven't rotated at all. If you go back and look at my slow-mo again, you'll see how much the sticks have really rotate hard from the top of the swing down. And you see when you're pushing this way. So if you're someone who you feel like you're not turning enough through the shot, or people are telling you, hey, you're not opening up through the shot. This is often the case, I find, that you're pushing into this early extension. Essentially, it really is just a complementary piece to the flat hip spin this way. It's a really normal reaction to most athletes to, hey, you're going to push your weight that way, now you're going to push your weight that way in response. And of course, that early extension is going to mess with your path, and it generally leads to a lot of blocked shots and flipped over hook shots. Loss of power as well, because you don't quite have the rotational speed that you would like. Let's look at another really common I don't know, misuse of the hips, you could call it. Leads to the over the top generally, and an outside in steep path, lots of slicing from this. And this would be if my hips on the downswing, if they just rotated this way, you see what's going to happen is if they rotate level and I stay inside my left post, so in other words, this way, it's going to throw my right shoulder into an over-the-top position or a high position. Doesn't allow me to get the right side under to hit up on the ball, but instead I'm going to be like this. And so if I made that action on a shot, you know, it could be very, very easy to hit a smother hook from there. And generally in that pattern, golfers, they'll make that miss occasionally, but what they'll learn how to do is hold the dickens out of the hand so that the face never closes on them. And you can make this work for some decent direction if you practice long enough, but with this hip action going through, and mostly it's bad players that are doing this, but even some players who are pretty good do this, and generally have to hold on with their hands. They'll drive it real short, steep angle of attack, and a low launch angle and a lot of backspin. They will never just really meet their potential for driving distance efficiency turning like that. And the worst golfer tends to hit that low climbing slice off to the right. Okay, so there's a look at how I think the hip should work optimally in the golf swing. I hope using the sticks was able to give you a little better picture on what we're trying to do with them, and the tilting and turning wise in the swing. Saw a couple of the most common errors. Maybe you fall into one. If you do, or feel like you're doing it right, then leave a comment down there and let me know if this is helpful or not. Hopefully you'll stay around and watch a couple more videos of mine, and I hope to see you next time. Thanks.